What's happening, YouTube? It's your homie S. Akuma coming back to you with another video. And today's video is the top 4 of the Swarthmore Comics and Cards top 4 Energon Invitational match. This match is special for a couple of reasons. I'll get into that in a second. But as you can see, the glare from RJ to the right, his left hand is hovering over. There's a glare, or the shadow again, rather, where you're able to see the Ironhide with that horrible glare. So let's just call Ironhide Super Ironhide this game, because Ironhide is flashing very bright and we can't see it, unfortunately, at all. And I'm gonna have to do something about that glare, so you'll have to forgive that glare. I don't know if there's some type of, I don't want to say like an umbrella or something that I could use during my recordings, but that'll just be very tacky and very hard to carry around, you know. So I don't know. I'll have to try to figure out something, or maybe, you know, I really don't want to annoy the players by asking them to move to all these different spots, or, you know, to see if we can get the lighting right or whatever. But you know, it is what it is, but I mean, at least I can do commentary over it. But yeah, so this match is very special because now the other top 4 match, keep in mind, was Wrecking Rules Frenchie versus Vector Sigma's Vin, Mr. Vinny, and they both have their invites. So their matchup didn't matter as much as this one did, because whoever wins in this matchup, these two players, to the left we have Ken Komar playing the Blaster deck, and to the right we have Wrecking Rules RJ playing well, I was going to say Secret Sentinels, but he's actually side decking Battlefield Legend. So he's playing Sentinel Prowl, Sentinel Ironhide, and then General Optimus to spread that bold to each of the characters. But they both do not have their invite just yet. So whoever wins this matchup will move on to the finals, and then their invite will automatically pass down whether they win or lose in the finals versus Vin or Frenchie. And I think the eventual winner of that matchup was Vin anyway, with his Blaster deck as well. So, with that being said, yeah, that seems to be very special. And then also, well, not seems to be, it is very special in that sense. So, with that being said, I only have this matchup recorded, and I did not have the finals recorded because it pretty much was going to be the same thing. Blaster versus, you know, RJ or Ken, you know, playing their decks. And yeah, I know you guys are sick of seeing orange, you want to see some more blue, you know, so, well, I know I want to see more blue. You know, orange just kind of took over. But, you know, Shockwave is coming in the meta. But, okay, so 2 minutes in, and I am not doing any commentary, forgive me, on the video. But it looks like we got a kill here on Fire Drive. You know, the Blaster deck's doing what it does best. Flipping Blaster and playing free cards off the top of the deck. The deck that RJ is playing hits very hard. You know, Bold 2 without any upgrades. No Flamethrower. You don't need any of that stuff. They just get it for free, built in with their effects. We have Blaster flipping back to alt mode to set up for the next turn to flip out to get out Steeljaw on the following turn. And we have a Treasure Hunt getting 2 upgrades. So a 2 for 1, not bad. Press the advantage, not that good in this Autobot matchups anyway, so it's fine. And we have Grenade Launcher on Ramhorn going into... It looks like he flipped before he chose an attack, but looks like he might have chose Ironhide. Keep in mind, General Optimus spreads everything but the Focus 1. He gets only the Focus 1 himself in his bot mode, but he does spread Bold 1 and Tough 1 to his other characters. Now, RJ is playing a couple of, looks like, blue cards, so, you know, like Matrix Leadership, and I want to say another card, but, well, there's another Matrix, Ramming Speed, Enforcement Batons, and Peace to Tyranny. So, yeah, at least gets 2 upgrades, so another 2 for 1. So, both players trading the 2 for 1 for both of their treasure hunts. RJ said to make sure I get this matchup and make sure that it's not corrupted. So I said, okay, we'll see. Or not corrupted, but rather make sure I didn't forget to press record and, you know, the game actually is up. So RJ, I got you. There's another blue card. That's what I was talking about. You know, he's also playing the Ion Blaster Optimus Prime. So definitely can't just assume that your opponent's, you know, going to flip all orange cards with him playing a mixed deck. It definitely, well, semi-mixes. I think it's more predominantly orange, but. So we got Blaster here deploying the Steeljaw, and he's going to flip a Confidence off the top of the deck, and he must play the Confidence. Keep in mind, whatever card you flip, you must play it. So Improvised Shield, he would have to attach it. Peace to Tyranny, you can play the card, but keep in mind it says you may KO one of your characters, so you can literally just play the card with no effect. You would never do that from your hand, but from Blaster, you would definitely do that. Unless you actually wanted to KO your Fire Drive in a sense. And with this deck, also, Peace to Tyranny only has 2 targets, being Blaster and Fire Drive. So ideally, you would almost always, 99% of the time, use it on Fire Drive. But as you can see, the Fire Drive is dead and gone, and also removed from the field via Enforcement Batons a couple turns ago. So only thing that'll get Fire Drive back in the game at this moment is a Quartermaster. But I highly doubt that Ken is playing playing that card. So he will decide to draw 2 cards off the well, not decide, excuse me. He will draw the 2 cards off confidence and discard 2 cards, and he will decide to play another action off of One Shall Stand. Now keep in mind, confidence, since he started with all Autobots, he's able to draw 2 cards, discard 2 cards, and play another action off of that. But that's still not his actual just manual action for the turn. So if he had another one to play, he would be able to play it. But he chooses not to. But he's going to go in with the Steeljaw for a strong grenade launcher attack, starting at 7 base and with a bold 1, and hitting a nice 10 attack on that Optimus. Now the Optimus has 9 damage on it, so the Optimus is still fine. It's sitting at, out of range of One Shall Stand, One Shall Fall, or anything like that. So, and One Shall Stand, One Shall Fall is the most powerful. Or the, I want to say the only, he might be playing Zap as well, the Blaster player, Ken. So, looks like Blaster's going to go into Optimus again. I'm going to assume, 1 and 2 attacks in the Optimus. So his best character's gone. But Prowl and Ironhide, keep in mind, back from the Sentinel days, a couple of months ago, Prowl and Ironhide were usually the ones that you wanted on the field late game anyway, because those are the ones that helped you win the game. Now, he did lose the ability, or he did lose the, past bold 1 from General Optimus, but these 2 characters can still hold their own and do a lot of damage. So, not quite sure. Looking at Blaster, it looks like he has double digits in damage on him. I'm not sure. From looking at the dice, I can't really tell, but we'll see. I can almost certainly say that the next attack from RJ will definitely be onto Blaster, because this is the only time that he'll be able to attack Blaster for, a couple of attacks. So he's going to go in with Ironhide with the bold 1 and Static Laser. And what's so powerful about that is Static Laser of Ironhide. When it's equipped to the Ironhide, you do not take the extra 2 damage. Oh, he actually decides to attack into Steeljaw. I apologize. Okay. Although I don't think that Ken is going in with Steeljaw either way next turn, but potentially maybe RJ has a plan and has direct damage to deal with the Steeljaw. And the Steel, like if Ken attacks with Ramhorn and then has a Zap or One Shall Stand to get rid of the Steeljaw, stealing that attack, it's a big deal. Because then now Blaster has to go in next turn, and then Prowl can potentially, well, not Prowl, but then the Blaster would be able to potentially. Oh, I thought he flipped Zap as a secret action. I'm like, wait, what? But we'll see what happens here. Unfortunately, can't see RJ's flips, but we will be able to at least see the damage that is put on, so we'll be able to do the math ourselves and see how much damage the Ramhorn does. Won't be a lot, though. Only 3 attacks, so no upgrades this turn from him. So attacking with 5 attack into Ironhide, and looks like he blocks with the, he counted, okay, yeah, only took 1 damage. He did flip an Iron Blaster of Optimus Prime. So 4 defense, very solid. So not such a strong turn from Ken. So let's see if RJ can clap back. Now Prowl can wear the Matrix of Leadership, but it will not spread the extra 1 attack and 1 pierce to his other characters. So bold 1 attacking into the Ramhorn. Looks like Ken flipped 2 cards for his defense. So at that point, he missed the window to be able to play a force field from his hand. Didn't have a force field. Prowl hit pretty hard there and definitely KO'd that Ramhorn. Now, what's unfortunate here, looking at the field, both of his characters are tapped, which means that Ken gets both of RJ's characters are tapped, which means Ken gets 2 attacks on RJ's characters, which can definitely not be good for RJ in this situation. Press the advantage, just a +2 attack action, being that, Autobots versus Autobots, so not as good. And what's very strong about Steeljaw staying on the field right now, I can kind of see why RJ would have, maybe I'm looking at the dice wrong and an attack wouldn't have KO'd Blaster anyway, and he potentially had a chance to KO the Steeljaw. But Steeljaw being the last cassette on the field is very important because he passes bold 1 over to any character that has 10 stars or more. So he gives himself bold 1, and then he also passes bold. He's like Flamemore, but the opposite. So pretty much give all your characters bold 1 in a sense at that point with those 2 characters on the field. So Ken ends up taking game 1 in a dominant fashion, doing what Blaster does. Definitely the superior of the 2. I do wish Soundwave was better. I do wish, like Soundwave's effect said, scrap the card from their hand and not. I wish you could just take any card from their hand. I think that would have been better because you take a press from their hand and put it back on top of their deck and they just can trade another. Now, granted, they still do lose another card overall, but they still can get it back. And the whole point was trying to get rid of it. But But hey, with all the wave 4 spoilers and, you know, all these Decepticon cards and things in general, Shockwave may potentially, or excuse me, Soundwave may potentially, you already know I'm very happy for Shockwave with a lot of those reveals, especially that common tough 3 card secret action. Instant include in just about every blue deck for sure. But yeah. So looks like RJ is going to go into 2-tall here, which I think is a very smart move, and potentially open with attacking with Optimus Prime Battlefield Legend and putting some serious damage on Blaster most likely. Now I actually just played a couple of games with Wads from Mech. Shout out to Mech. And his 2-tall, it was a more heavier, but it was, or heavy blue deck rather, but it was General Optimus and, you know, Battlefield Legend, and it was heavy blue. And I played, or actually my boy Maurice, he was playing a Blaster, and when Wads went first, he attacked with Optimus into Blaster, putting a lot of hurting on him. And the way the turn sequences ended up happening, Blaster actually ended up having to attack, instead of flipping back to alt mode to set up for the next turn to flip to get Steeljaw out, both Optimus were tapped. So the turn that Blaster would flip to alt mode, it would have to attack along with all the rest of his characters since both Optimus are tapped. And yeah, that Blaster in his alt mode, as you can see in his boombox mode, has 0 attack. So he had to attack with Blaster in bot mode without being able to flip flop and reset. And then when everybody stood, Optimus was able to go attack after Blaster again and KO it, and then you never got to deploy Steeljaw. So if what I was just talking about happens here, you will definitely see it in fruition. So, and then this deck is heavy orange on top of that too, so it might not even have to take 2 attacks to kill the Blaster. So we'll see what happens. And keep in mind, the Optimus also has Bold 1 too, so he's coming in hard. So should be flipping one more card for Bold, because Optimus passes Bold 1 and Tough 1 to his other characters. And we have a pause here. That's interesting. Now he only has 1 action to play off of that flip. He has Treasure Hunt, and you know, he flipped the Grenade Launcher. So, but that Piece to Tyranny also should have been flipped within, you know, Optimus's attack flips. It's still more than enough to KO the Fire Drive, but the point is it would dig another card deeper into his deck because he's not going to play the Piece to Tyranny, but for that Treasure Hunt. So he does get to add the Matrix Leadership to his hand for free, which is nice. And getting an immediate KO on Fire Drive on the first turn, not even giving Ken a chance to attack with the Fire Drive, is a very big deal. Yes, he gets to turn it into a weapon, but that just throws off Ken's flip sequences a lot. So we're gonna flip Blaster, deploy Steeljaw actually, and then play what's that? Daring Counterattack. And looks like he forgot his Bold here. He remembered his Bold last game, and he seemed to forget it this game. That's interesting that happened like that. I wonder what happened there. But pretty sizable attack on the Optimus. Had somebody that wanted to read the card. Grenade Launcher should be scrapped soon. Pretty sure they'll catch it. No, it's definitely not. Yeah, there it is. RJ is going to trade for a green. And pass back turn to RJ. So RJ has the potential. The way the flip sequences work with the Optimus deck seems like General Optimus doesn't flip till late game. Like he's Battlefield Legend actually goes out first usually before the you kind of use him to just like kind of KO as many characters as possible, especially in the orange base deck, and then potentially flip the General Optimus later game. Because right now you wouldn't flip General Optimus to his other mode to attack. You would give him to be able to pass the Tough onto Battlefield Legend. But the thing is with this deck, you know, his RJ's deck is predominantly orange, so the Tough won't really help as much. But we have a security checkpoint here, so definitely a mixed deck. He's going to sacrifice 3 of his upgrades in order to get rid of whatever upgrades that Ken had. So he's stripping him of all upgrades, not only killing the Fire Drive, the cannon on Blaster, he also stripped Ken of all his upgrades in his hand as well. So he's only working with an action next turn, and actually might not even still KO the Blaster. Or excuse me, KO the Blaster may not KO the Battlefield Legend. So very strong play by RJ there. Let's see what Ken can do to clap back now here this turn. Coming up. If he draws an upgrade, that'll be decent. I didn't see what the rest of his hand was from the security checkpoint, but we'll find out here in a second. Keep in mind, Ken is also up a game as well. So if this does push to game 3, Ken will be able to start game 3 and at least get him 1 attack and draw off the fire drive. And it's so awkward here because, again, like the sequence didn't go exactly how I was saying with the blue double Optimus deck, but here the blaster can't even afford to flip back this turn in order to set up for the next turn. Now, well, I take that back. You know what? He probably can because the blaster should be at full health. He never attacked blaster. RJ. So even if RJ were to attack in the blaster next turn, the blaster has 2 defense, so it would actually live, and then he would be able to deploy. But I don't think that he wants to waste a potential using an attack here. Now, I mean, Blaster would have 4 attack in his boombox mode. That may have been okay, I think, to flip there. Because, like I said, Blaster almost definitely... Well, I don't want to say almost definitely, because you know what RJ does get? And RJ does get a action and upgrade. So he could potentially grenade launcher, supercharge, and all of a sudden Blaster's out of there. So, not really up for debate. I take that back. That wouldn't have been good. But either way, as you can see, this throws off Blaster sequences horribly. And not only that, we have a marksmanship here to finish off the Steeljaw, so you can get a free attack on Blaster, and doesn't have to worry about getting 2 attacks back at him next turn. General Optimus, of course, thrives in both settings: heavy blue, heavy orange, even mixed. One of the best rares, definitely, if not the best rare in Wave 3. So as you can see here, now the way Ken counts his damage, he actually starts with how much health they have, and that's how I used to play too. But so it had 14 health to start. I don't know exactly how much health it has left, but as you can see, RJ's character, he counts up. You know, he actually puts the damage on the characters, and the Optimus has no damage on it. So Ken's definitely gonna have some work to do. That was a very strong defensive flip. Jeez, couldn't ask for anything better. Well, yeah, I guess to be fair, you couldn't ask for anything better. That was a very good defensive flip. Only took 2 damage from that. Now that's interesting. RJ is going to flip to alt mode. Doesn't get the tough there. You do have the extra defense, but Optimus in the other mode potentially had the potential. Okay. Had the potential to still have that same 3 defense, but I guess you can't guarantee that because, you know, it's definitely a heavier orange deck. It seems like the only blues that RJ plays in his deck are like Optimus, the Ion Blaster of Optimus Prime, the security checkpoints, the marksmanships. So maybe about 10 to 12 cards that are blue. But he still has the Peace of Tyrannies, the improvised shields. So it's a very decent mix of both pips. Both icons. I can't stand calling them pips. I say that because so many other people say it. Both icons. Again, my bad for the glare. I don't really know what to do about it. It's really all about the lighting and the setting where you sit. I don't even know who's to say, you know, wherever I had them sit, you know, for this last match, if they were sat anywhere else, it would have been any better. Maybe it could be the angle of my camera. Maybe I can like lower the camera some. I'm gonna have to do some more work with it. But I definitely wanted to get this match despite the glare because of how important it was for both of these players to win. Because the winner, remember, gets their invite passed down to, you know, from the person that already has their invite. It gets passed down to second place, even if they were to lose. So that takes some pressure off them. They don't have to win the entire tournament anymore. All right, so now we have, as you can see, Ken ended up deciding to side out his fire drive and his ram horn for General Optimus, and he's still able to fit in Steeljaw. And what's nice about Steeljaw is, in this situation especially, is he passes the bold onto any character 10 stars or more. So he passes it on to General Optimus and Blaster. And he's going to go in hard with Steeljaw into, looks like, Battlefield Legend. And also putting the 3 damage from One Shot Stand onto Battlefield Legend, which is very strong. RJ gets a very decent defensive flip with 5 defense. And Optimus has 4 damage on him. And what was very powerful about that One Shot Stand play that Ken did was the fact that he put it on Steeljaw. I'm assuming he put it on Steeljaw. The Steeljaw is probably going to die to an attack anyway from Optimus. So putting in the 3 damage effectively just kind of doesn't matter because it would have died whether it had 9 health or even the 6 health. and then putting three definite damage on Optimus to get him closer to being KO'd, because that's one of RJ's most important characters, is very important. But RJ presses on and still wants to play, or excuse me, he flips. He wants to send Battlefield Legend in, rather, playing Arm Hovercraft, dealing 1 damage to each character, taking down Ken's overall health pool by 3. Now, Ken wasn't supposed to flip his cards for defense first. Yes, all of his cards are orange, so it won't matter in terms of RJ needing to calculate how much defense his character is potentially going to have. But so RJ flips Security Checkpoint, Ramming Speed, and Treasure Hunt off of the Battlefield Legends attack, and okay, Security Checkpoints, and hits two or three cards out of Ken's hand. So again, leaving Ken to only play actions potentially on his next turn. But Optimus, okay, he did have Treasure Hunt. Well, Treasure Hunt's kind of a direct counter to a card like Security Checkpoint. Now, he only gets 1 upgrade out of that, but hey, a 1-for-1 is better than a none-for-1. So we're going to flip General Optimus this turn. And most likely, okay, we're not going to flip General Optimus. But he does have an Erratic Lightning, so I'm assuming he definitely is going to play it this turn. And then we're going to attack. He's going to attack with Blaster. 8 attack, 0 defense. Optimus blocks for 3. Blaster looks like he's attacking for looks like 12. Oof. Missed it by 1. RJ flipping that blue saved him to make Ken have to either use direct damage or waste an entire another attack on Optimus. And having a wasted attack on Optimus like that, especially with no direct damage, with a huge character like Ken's General Optimus, is such a waste. But I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, because you really don't want that RJ's Battlefield Legend to attack again, I'm sure. So now RJ has some options here this turn. He can attack with Optimus in alt mode, and he just has to sacrifice some attack power this turn, but he'll be able to at least flip back Battlefield Legend and grab back in action. So let's see what he ends up planning here. Blaster sitting pretty at full health, I want to say. Unless he used the one-shot stand on it earlier, but I doubt it. So we got a Treasure Hunt. Very good Treasure Hunt. 2-for-1 there. We got a Grenade Launcher and Ion Blaster of Optimus Prime. Very strong. Optimus is on his last leg. Okay, but he uses the Grenade Launcher this turn because he'll be able to get more damage out of it, and is going into the Blaster, using his focus. And yeah, definitely didn't need it. That glare showed me, wow, that was very lucky. That's 15 attack. He flipped a Peace to Tyranny, Improvised Shield, and a Reckless Charge with the Grenade Launcher. That's 15 attack, and knocked out that Blaster in 1 hit. So if Ken doesn't have direct damage and then able to also get into General Optimus this turn, is definitely looking unfortunate for Ken here. That was a very strong hit. Very lucky flips there for RJ. So the fact that Ken is thinking things I think about when I'm playing, seems like he didn't have direct damage. I feel like direct damage would be like a snap play as soon as you have it, like for the most part, especially in a scenario like this. So he definitely didn't have direct damage. I felt he didn't, and it looks like he doesn't. Now he's going to play Confidence, draw 2 cards, and since he did start the game with all Autobots, again, he is also able to play another action. But doesn't look like he's going to play another one, but we'll see. Maybe he was fishing for an upgrade this turn. Chopping it up, doing some talking. Very crucial turn here for Ken, so I don't blame him for taking some time. And plus, they're way ahead of schedule. They're only like halfway into what the time would be. Time is 50 minutes. They're on game 3 and not even just about halfway through time. So they're perfectly fine on time. Kind of take as much time as you want at this point. Attacker for 9 in the Battlefield Legend. Could not afford for that Battlefield Legend to get another attack, but he still has to deal with General Optimus. And also keep in mind, RJ does have another Ion, or has a Ion Blaster of Optimus Prime, and there it is in his hand. So sitting pretty with 8-3, with Focus 1, Tough 1, and Bold 1. Potentially no action this turn. Both Optimuses will focus. RJ is definitely not going to focus the way that Improvised Shield. And, oh my God. Okay, RJ. RJ, who, Jesus, really? So RJ flips insane right there, flips 3 double oranges, and that's just enough to just overdo and KO the hell out of that Ken's General Optimus. And that's going to do it. So shout out to RJ, and congratulations to him for getting his invite to the Energon Invitational. Ken, I'm sure you'll get yours soon. I ain't even worried about it, man. Just got to keep grinding. You know, you still got to the end of the month to get there. We've got a good couple of qualifiers still coming up, you know, in New Jersey, Maryland, even here in Pennsylvania. We got 2 coming up this weekend, 1 in Jersey and 1 in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, where I'm at currently. So definitely shout out to Ken for making it that far, top 4 with that powerful blaster deck. And just keep grinding, man. You'll get it for sure. So with that, again, shout out to RJ for winning. And keep in mind, again, that him going to top 2, whether he played against Vin or Frenchie, I think Vin ended up winning that. And they split in the top 2. The prize support and the Energon Invitational was invite was awarded to RJ because Vin already has his from his top 8 at Gen Con with that same, you know, that blaster deck. And yeah, so that's the end of this little, I'm gonna call it a video series, that was just the one match. And I felt like that one was more important, obviously, than watching one of 2 people that had their invite already, and then also didn't record the finals as well because that same situation, it was just going to be another blaster versus the General Optimus aggressive deck. So good luck to anyone still in their qualifier season hunting for their invite, and I hope to see any and all of you at the Invitational. And with that, the Wave 4 spoilers have been coming out. I'm very excited and very happy to see all these spoilers coming out. A lot of these characters, I'm still in that mode of learning all these new characters. Like Astro Train, I really never knew who that was. They just showed him today, and so he's cool. I've always heard about him, never really actually seen him. So seeing him in card form and his abilities seem really cool. I like that common card, the one that gives your character tough 3 during that battle. There's almost no way of stopping that besides W5 Gyro Blaster off the top of my head, but either way, that card's just very powerful. And so are a lot of the other cards that I've seen, and I'm just excited to keep seeing these spoilers and waiting for November 8th for the set to drop, Siege 2 Wave 4. And with that, you all have a great day and or a great night. You guys know how it is. This is S. Akuma heading out. Peace.